Y'all, when I tell y'all, I say it every week. I feel like a broken record, but I say it every single week. This season, it is without a doubt the best season that they've had since War of the Worlds 2. Like, we are 8 episodes in, and there has not been a bad episode. And in my opinion, this one was the best one. The best one so far. This cast is so good. I love the rookies. I love the vets. Everybody is playing. Like, everybody's playing. And I'm thoroughly entertained. I've been excited to watch each episode. If I didn't have Love Island games going on right now and Big Brother, y'all know I would have been dropping this stuff the night of. But I'm truly locked in. But if y'all are with me, hit subscribe if you're new. Do that right now because I'm going to be here for the rest of the season. Those of y'all that know how I get down with the challenge and I somehow don't end up finishing the season, I'm almost positive I'm going to finish this one. So y'all going to be in the comments like, oh, he's just saying that now, but we're going to see. Y'all going to see. Y'all going to see. But thumbs up the video. Drop the comments down below. Really thumbs up the video because that helps me get back in the algorithm. I'm outside of it considering the fact that it's not the date that the episode dropped. But do me a favor. It's free of charge. Do me a favor. Do me a favor. It's free of charge. Thumbs it up. Drop down in the comments. I got a lot of notes. I got a lot to talk about with this episode. It was a good one. And I got some stuff to say, but let's get into it now. All right, so we get back where we left off, which is pretty much Tay, who this is the only camera time she really got. She's feeling good about her eliminations. Like, she done been into 2 eliminations now. She's won both of them. And she's now excited to be working with Leroy at this point because they worked well together the last time that they had been paired together. And she needs more points. He needs more points. And she knows that she's near the bottom of the leaderboard, especially for her rookie group of girls. So she needs them points considering the fact that we know we're nearing the point where they're not going to have to choose who their partner is for the rest of the game. And if you ain't got the points, you're going to get pretty much the leftovers, which we know that is nearing next week, as we know we are at the halfway point. But Olivia, she's in there talking to John A, Theo, and Derrick Cancun. And she's in there telling them, like, the other side essentially is happy to have Izzy gone, even though she wasn't a threat to them. And I'm like, yeah, she wasn't really I don't want to say she wasn't a physical threat, though. Because I feel like Izzy performed pretty well in the challenges. She wasn't the best, but she wasn't the worst. But they know that you are a threat in this game. Like, her threat level, Olivia's threat level this season has definitely increased more so than it ever has been. And with you having numbers, that makes your threat level even higher. So if they can't get you, we got to get your numbers out. We can't leave you stacked and having protection. We want to get you out of here. But she was like, I mean, they don't even care about Tay either. Clearly, Tay is not a factor. Let's keep it real. But, like, she is a number in your direction. So get rid of her too. But she then states, like, we just need to win. We need to make sure that if it is a guy's day, we need to win so we can put up a rookie against Will. So, as we all know, Will is the hangnail. But Theo's like, I mean, I'm close to essentially going full, what do you say, carnage mode at this point? I'm like, Theo, you can't do shit. You can't win shit. Like, what do you think you're going to do? Just because you tall, but you goofy and you big and you're not the same Theo that you was when you first came on the show. Like, when you first came onto the franchise, you're not the same person. Ain't nobody scared of you, Theo. Like, you literally are riding behind your girlfriend. She's the only reason as to why you even matter at this point in the game. But Olivia's like, I mean, I feel like I have a good feeling about what's going to happen next because I'm near pretty much the top of the leaderboard at this point. So I feel like I'm going to have either Yeremi, Cedric, or anybody else that's strong. So she feels good about her chances of possibly winning this next daily mission. But John A tells us, she's like, any rookie guy is going to get stuck with Olivia, which is good for her. But I'm sitting here with only 1 point. So at the end of the day, I won't even get to select a partner. I'm going to be sitting here waiting, hoping that somebody picks me that's actually worth it. We then get a scene with D and Will. They're in the kitchen and she's asking him if he's mad at her. And she's like, he's basically saying, like, I just want a sorry. So she ends up apologizing to him. And he's like, okay, we're good. But Derrick Cancun comes walking in there. Turbo's in there as well. And Turbo starts checking him. Turbo is without a doubt my favorite person on the show. He has cracked me up this episode from the moment. Every scene he's been in, he's cracked me up this episode. Like, he's my favorite guy. Michaela's my favorite girl, but we'll get to it. But Turbo, he ends up stating that, says that in his way, he says in his own way, I said in his way, Turbo, you know how he talks. So in his own way, he's basically calling Derrick fake to his face about trying to get him thrown into the arena and said, like, you can say my name, but don't be fake about it. I'm right there with you, Turbo. I would have said the same shit. Derrick Cancun is fake as fuck. Like, everything Turbo is stating about Derrick is in fact true. And Derrick says, I mean, I only did it because it was a girl's day. I wasn't really trying to get you out. But I mean, but not only that, you can't say that because you know if you're trying to target somebody who's attached to Turbo, you know if they lose, Turbo is a hangnail, which you're leading his game in jeopardy. So you can't even state that. But Turbo says it doesn't even matter because you still said my name and I possibly could be a hangnail, what I just said. But Derrick then tells us that Turbo doesn't realize that it's a game and people are going to have to say each other's names. And I'm like, yeah, and Turbo can check you about it, but it's funny considering what he just said, considering what's going to happen later on. But Derrick ends up stating to him, like, who did you want me to say? Like, did you want me to say CT, Theo? Obviously, anybody but Turbo would be good for Turbo. But Turbo says, do you want to run a final with CT, who can't run? Do you want to run with Leroy, who can't even finish a puzzle? Do you want to do it with Theo, who can't even run a mile? He was dragging all of them, and everything he said was true. Everything he said was true. But then again, when you sit and think about it, though, Derrick competing against those three with those struggles that they have, it's a benefit to Derrick at the end of the day. Like, essentially, I would want to run against people that have weaknesses that are probably my strengths. But Derrick says, I don't even think I'm going to even make it that far. I don't know if I'm going to get there. So at this point, I need to make sure that I have the best chance that I do. But Justin is eating it up because it's vet on vet beef, and he's sitting there just eating it up. These new rookies crack me up. But Turbo wraps it up stating, your new name is FF. Fake as fuck. I said exactly. But Theo, we see a scene of him get medical attention because of his swollen knee that he's had since the mountain challenge. I said he's just useless. Useless. Big for nothing. Olivia is literally carrying him. But Leroy and Yeremi, they're pretty much strategizing on who they can possibly choose. And Leroy's okay with working with any of the girls because he knows he's at the bottom. He needs points. And he tells him, like, what's shocking to me is how CT essentially is one of the best players that ever played this game, yet none of the girls want to work with him. And it's like, I mean, CT low-key did it to himself. Like, looking at him, you just don't think he would be fit. But we'll get to it. We'll get to it. It's still CT at the end of the day. But Yeremi was like, I mean, CT deserves it because of what he did to Lekka. So at this point, he's like, I mean, he'll have to re-earn trust with these women considering what he did. Do I believe CT set Lekka up? I go back and forth with it. I'm like, I don't know if he did or not. But then again, I'm like, sending Lekka home, what does that really do for CT? But then again, I'm like, the way he performed, considering how he performed today, you start to question shit. But Sydney says he's conniving and he's a liability, and she wants somebody who she doesn't have to worry about. Like, I want to make sure that I have somebody working with me and partnering with me that I don't have to worry about probably trying to carry their weight and them being dead weight. But we see a scene of Nani talking to Michaela about Olivia coming into their room where Ashley was in there, and she's pretty much gloating about everybody's probably going to want to choose me as their partner and whatnot. And Ashley and her didn't even want her in the room. We all know that they're on opposite ends. But Michaela states that Yeremi and Cedric don't even want to be her partner, which we later see that to be true. So she's like, who's pitching to her that they want her to be their partner? But Nani was like, Olivia came in here on this high horse the first half of the season because she had those numbers, but now they're dwindling. And for her to think that she can come in here and manipulate these new threats, she's sadly mistaken. It is funny because that's how Olivia came into this game. And I feel like a lot of the fans online that are so pro Olivia, they forget that. And it's like they trying to make it seem like these girls are jealous of her or just don't like her for no reason. Olivia is playing the game. I'm not mad at Olivia the way she's playing the game because I honestly feel I don't like her. I tell y'all this every week. I do not like her. I don't think I ever can like her. But one thing about me, I can respect a game. She came into this game playing very risky. And when I say very risky, she immediately drew the line in the sand, basically telling the vets, I don't really care to work with y'all. Without stating that, she basically showed that in her actions by aligning a whole group of rookies to have her back. Is that wrong in the game? Absolutely not. That is what she should be doing, is getting an army around her that will actually protect her solely. The other girls, the other vets are thinking about protecting each other. She's worried about protecting herself, which is what she should do. But to think that the other vets, Michaela, Nani, Aviv, Ashley, to think that they're wrong for wanting her out, y'all fans are crazy. Y'all are crazy because they sitting here acting like they're so wrong to want to get Olivia out and are talking about Olivia. Olivia is the only person on that opposing side that actually poses a threat to them. So obviously they would want her out. Obviously they would want to weaken her numbers if they can't get her out. Like, I don't get y'all fans. Like, y'all are weird because it's just funny considering who it is. If it was somebody else, they wouldn't have that same energy. But Michaela's like, I mean, she just trying to get through the next challenge at this point. Like, Michaela said, I'm just trying to get through the next challenge. Nani says, yeah, we need to get CT in that elimination. And we all know CT is partnering with Michaela for this one. And Michaela's like, I mean, I hope it's a challenge where the winner that is determined, they're determined first. And basically, I hope it's a winner that's actually going to take moves, because suddenly my knees are just going to start breaking. They're going to conveniently break, aka she's going to start throwing that challenge. And we know Michaela thinks logically and she thinks smart. So we'll see what happens. But we get to the daily challenge, and Olivia, she's talking about how she doesn't know how her communication is going to be with Leo, considering the fact that they've been on opposite sides. I was like, yeah, I mean, I understand why you think that, but y'all both like winning and y'all both can. So I was like, I don't really have any doubts in terms of how they'll work together. But CT, he's feeling good about having Michaela because she is the top competitor, the top female competitor this season. She has the most points. And Anissa, she's like, heights is not the problem, but it's the climbing. She said that's not a thick activity. I was cracking up. Anissa, she doing good this season. I'm proud of her. She is doing very good this season when it comes to performing. I'm not proud of her social game. Like, her social game is not that great, but she's doing great performance-wise. But Leo, he's feeling good about his chances with Olivia because he likes heights over water. Leo also has been performing extremely well. Leo, I can already see it now. He's going to be a regular. Like, he's performing well, and he is actually making moves, and he's not background. Like, he is very much a focal character of this season. So TJ pretty much lets them know, like, this challenge, y'all are going to need some endurance. And we find out that Will actually be Dee's partner. As we know, Will is the hangnail, but he'll be Dee's partner because Theo is injured and has not had his MRI yet. So he's medically unfit to compete. He is now the hangnail. Ha ha. Ha ha. But Will does not trust Dee as a partner in the house. He's scared she might even throw it just because it is a guy's day. But the challenge today is called Cyclone. They have a 30-foot container over water with 4 climbing walls on each side. At the bottom, they'll have to transfer 5 of these like blocks up the top as the container is rotating. And I didn't think it was going to rotate as fast as it was, but it was rotating pretty fast. But after they've transferred them as many as they can, they have to then jump back into the water, swim 500 meters to a raft, and once they do that, their time will stop. So the objective is to get as many as you can up there and also swim as fast, because the team that transfers the most and swims the fastest will win, and they can select a team to face Theo against judgment, or for judgment against him to go into the elimination. And as we know, it's a guy's day, so it's men versus men. So they begin in the first heat. We got Leroy and Tay versus Derrick and Aviv versus Will and Dee versus Justin and Ashley. Like I told you, that container was rotating pretty fast. Justin was up there moving. Justin was moving it, but he got the shit up the wall, but he ends up dropping a block, and he was trying to place it up there as he did, but Justin ends up losing his balance. He falls. Ashley's arms give out. She falls. So they're now trying to swim. Dee ends up dropping a block. Derrick ends up dropping. Aviv's up there trying to do it herself, but she ends up dropping a block. Tay ends up falling. Leroy is shortly after her. They have 0 blocks. 0 blocks. So if the rest of the teams at least get 1 up there, they're probably going to lose. But Will and Dee, they're the last 2 up there essentially, and then Dee ends up dropping. Will's up there thugging it through. He was in there getting that shit done, but he almost dropped the block, but he eventually got it up. They end up swimming over to the raft. So the second heat, we got Derrick and Adrian versus Johnny and Turbo versus Sydney and Yeremi versus Gabe and America. Yeremi and Sydney, I knew they was going to perform well, and they was up there beasting that shit. Beasting it, especially Yeremi. But Turbo was up there killing it too. I wasn't shocked. Turbo is like a ninja, so him climbing up that shit, he was doing it. But CT, he wants CT to go in because of what he did to Lekka. Like, we all know Turbo is not a fan of what happened with Lekka. So Turbo's like, I mean, I can't even do anything. Like, at this point, he's saying CT can't even do anything, so why are you here? We see CT can do stuff. CT still can move. But Derrick is doing he's doing most of the climbing for him and Adrian. Adrian's pretty much passing him the blocks. They kind of came up with that strategy, which I think was effective, because I can't really see Adrian going up and down. And we know Derrick is strong, so he's going to go up and down. But Theo, talking about he felt like he wouldn't have been able to beat Yeremi, but he doesn't feel like he would have lost his challenge. I think he would have. Theo has not performed well at all. When I say performed well, from a physical and mental aspect, I haven't seen much of Theo to make me think that he would even perform well in this. But John A, she ends up dropping. She feels like she failed Turbo, but Turbo was like, I was proud of her. I was like, exactly. But Yeremi, like I said, he was thugging through that shit. Thugging through it. He had forearm pain, but he got 4 out of the 5 blocks that him and Sydney had up to the top. He got the most out of everybody. But Gabe and America, they got 0 blocks. So Yeremi, like I said, Yeremi and Sydney got the most blocks. They flew through the swimming challenge. Michaela's like, I don't know if I want Yeremi in that final. I'm like, exactly, unless you attach to him. But the third heat, we got CT and Michaela versus Cedric and Nani versus Jake and Anissa versus Olivia and Leo. Nothing but a bunch of strong pairs if you asking me. But CT feels good about having Michaela. Obviously, anybody would. But he's like, I mean, I got to fight because my ass got to get up this wall. And Ashley was like, because it was funny though, because he started doing it and he was getting up that wall. Ashley was like, oh, so now you can climb. And Turbo said, now you can climb, CT. But Turbo said he just proved you literally sabotaged Lecca, because if you can get up this one as fast as you are, you get up there faster than everybody else, you could have got up that other one. And that's why I'm like, yeah, I mean, I can see why they feel that way. Because this one, in my opinion, looks harder than the other one. So it's like, and it's just funny how the one time he got up there, it was a guy's day. The other time, it was not a guy's day. So he ain't helping his case. But everybody in this particular heat was performing well. Olivia, she's trying to win to set Theo up to at least have somebody that he can beat if he is in the elimination. But CT ends up falling, and Ashley was like, good. I'm glad he fell. And Sydney over there talking about some justice for Lecca. I love that Lecca's getting all this screen time, even though she ain't even there. But Michaela, she now has to pretty much get her wish, basically, because CT fell, and she wanted to throw it anyways. And she's like, I mean, all the new threats want me to throw it anyway. So at this point, he sacrificed Lecca on the girls' day. It's a guy's day. It's time to get him up out of here. So she wants to throw it, but she don't want to make it too obvious. So Anissa and Jake, they end up falling. CT is still in the water, not even swimming. He's still in the water, and Michaela is still up there, and he's telling her to jump. Cedric and Nani, they still up there, and they up there killing it. Cedric's up there getting points, and Michaela is still up there, and CT is telling her to jump, and Turbo's like, don't listen to him, but she eventually jumps in there, and everybody starts chanting, justice for Lecca. But Michaela, she's still throwing it. She in that water playing around, and CT's like, come on, but he knows that she in there throwing it. But he was like, he can't really be mad at her at this point because he knows what she's doing. But he was like, he wished that they were partners together on another challenge, aka on a challenge when she actually had to win. Because if it was Michaela's ass on the line, he knows that she would have won. They would have won. But Leo and Olivia, they're still up there. They're working really well together. And she's like, I'm now open to actually working with him in the future, obviously, because Leo can compete. Leo is good. But CT, he's trying to get Michaela to move faster. They're swimming back, and you can tell Michaela is not really putting too much effort. But Turbo says, if CT goes in this elimination, I'm going to rock out with my cock out. And they all started laughing, and so did I. But after the challenge, TJ lets them know that Sydney and Yeremi have won. The last place team was tight, and it was tight. Michaela and CT were last, but they were only last by like 20 seconds. But CT knows he's going in. He ain't going to cry about it. He know he just got to get ready. So they head back to the house, and Sydney, she's feeling good about getting to throw in another team. As we all know, she literally just won the last one. And she's happy that CT's going in, and it's time to get another vet in there. She wants another vet in there to make sure that one of them is gone. But Theo heads off to get his MRI, and D ends up asking Yeremi, like, who are you thinking about throwing in? And he's like, both Derricks are on his shit list at this point. Like, Derrick K voted him in, I think. Regardless, both of them targeted him. But D ends up stating, like, it's hard because I want CT gone, but I probably need him in this game. But Yeremi's like, but you don't want to run a final with him, and she ain't. I'm like, I can see where he was coming from with that, but when they started comparing him and Theo, because she was like, I mean, it's either him or Theo. And he's like, I feel like you would have a better shot with Theo. I'm sitting there thinking about it. I'm like, I don't think she would. Because Theo has not won a final. CT actually has won a final, and he actually won a final where he wasn't in his best shape. War of the Worlds 2, he was kind of thick like he is right now. So, and we all know CT is smart. CT can finish a puzzle. CT has proven that he can get it done 5 times. So at this point, like, I would probably pick CT over Theo. But D ends up stating, like, he can't breathe, he can't run. And Aviv comes in, and they start talking about it with her, and she's like, we in our 40s. Like, me and CT, we in our 40s. I said, yeah, y'all are, but you look good. Aviv she looked better. Like I say it every week. She looks better than she did back when she won the show 20 years ago. She looks better than she did then, and she's in better shape too. You can tell. But D's like, I mean, I know I don't have that many points. Theo don't have it either. CT does though. CT got more points than he does. But Yeremi then tells Aviv that Derrick Cancun will be an easy person to throw in there because he said his name already. Aviv, we know Aviv is close to Derrick. They're friends. But she's like, I know his number one in this game is Olivia. So, I mean, I've been working with Yeremi and D. At this point, I'm not going to stick my neck out for him. I'm like, exactly, Aviv. Aviv is literally having one of the best return. And when I say returns, like the best returnee type situation. And when I say return, how am I trying to say this? Y'all know what I'm saying. The bet that returns from being gone for a while, she's having one of the best showings. From what I saw from last season, if you don't know, I stopped watching and recapping season 40 because my DVR did not record one episode. And because of how MTV is with their shit now, they don't even drop the full episodes. So I couldn't find the episode, and I wasn't about to keep recapping it when I don't know what happened on the previous episode. But I know that she performed well on that season too, and she's performing well here. Like, she performs well. She's very much gaming, and she's in the game. She's playing the game. Aviva's having a good showing. But they head on out on the town, and we see a quick little scene with Sydney and Derrick K. And she was like, I mean, if it was my choice, I wouldn't throw you in. And Derrick's like, I mean, I felt like I could be good. I feel like I could be probably going in because of my elimination record. We know that's where he shines. But he don't want to go up against a 5-time champion, a.k.a. CT. But CT and D, they're talking, and she ends up apologizing because she said that if he does go in and does go home, she don't want that on her conscience. Like, she likes him as a person, but it is what it is. So he ends up asking her, do you believe that I actually tried to get Lekka out of this house? And she's like, yeah, I do. And he was like, well, I didn't. He's like, I'm sorry that you feel that way, but I didn't. But Turbo was sitting there talking about how he's sick for Theo and says that my brother didn't deserve to be hanging. And talk about the hangnail. But he says CT's up for elimination. And I hope that Derrick FF, a.k.a. Fake as Fuck, is going to be in there with him. And he says, I hope that CT actually sends him home. Me too. I don't like Derrick Cancun. Like, I don't like how shady he plays the game. Like, I can respect a game that's kind of cunning, but his is not respectable. He plays very shady, like, and I don't respect that gameplay. But D ends up telling CT that the consensus over the house is that CT plays a shady game, and CT's like, no, it's not. That's not true. I don't play that way. And she's like, I mean, that's how it's perceived. But CT says that his presence in the house is very polarizing. And regardless, he's going to be him. Like, regardless, if you like me or not, I'm going to still do what I got to do. And that is the CT that we all know. But we then get a scene with Derrick Cancun talking to Yeremi and Sydney, trying to pretty much plead his case to them. And he says, like, y'all have girls that are working with the vets as well, like the vet guys. So take that into consideration when you're making your decision, considering people's points. So Sydney's like, yeah, we thought about that. Like, you're not telling us something that we haven't thought about. But Derrick says that he feels like he made a good case. And if they're trying to do justice for Lekka, sending me in against CT, you're probably going to send me home, which is not getting justice for Lekka. He's right about that. He is right about that. But Yeremi says, essentially, this is Derrick Cancun's karma. Like, you put my life in this game in jeopardy. And at this point, I mean, I think the biggest threat to me in this game is Derrick K. But I mean, at this point, that's how I feel. And he's not wrong. I mean, I do believe Derrick K poses a bigger threat to Yeremi than Derrick Cancun. But I would be thinking the same thing. Like, Derrick Cancun, he's very shady. He has a lot of the girls on Olivia's side in his back pocket. So those are numbers for him. And he has vet girls that I feel like would actually vote to keep him if he was up against somebody else. But I mean, you gotta weigh out both of those options. But he ends up stating that Derrick K will actually gun for him. And I'm like, I don't really know. Because Derrick K, his track record, he always goes with the win. Derrick really shines when he's in eliminations. He's not really spearheading X, Y, and Z going into an elimination. But back at the house, Ashley's in there with Cedric, Michaela, Nani, Aviv, and Will. And she's asking Cedric, who do you think Olivia will pick? And they're in there talking, and he's like, I mean, she said that she's not picking somebody who doesn't come up to her and pretty much tries to approach her with a partnership. And he said, I ain't doing it. So they all start laughing. And Will was like, I mean, she approached me talking about she needs to interview me to see why I should be a good partner for her. And he's like, I mean, why do you think that you're a good partner for me? And it's like, I get where both of them are coming from. They sitting there laughing, and I can see why people online are like, oh my God, they're doing too much. They're hating on her. They're not hating on her. Like, they're not hating on her. It is strictly a game. I don't personally feel like they dislike Olivia as a person. I do. But I don't feel that way about how they are. I feel like they just are like, in this game, why does she expect people to want to work with her when she came into this game trying to get everybody out, which I'm not mad at that because that's what I would be doing too. But I mean, at this point, you got to put yourself in their shoes. They're on the opposing end with her. But he states that, and Olivia's over there overhearing it. And she's like, it hurts coming into this game, getting so much praise just to have this switch up. And I'm like, you're pretty much a sinking ship. Nobody wants to attach themselves to you because say y'all lose and they trying to take a shot at you, they going to end up taking a shot at them. So I'm like, it's not about you not being able to perform. It's just the fact that you are a high target. Why would they want to attach themselves to you, even if you can perform? But she's now crying to John A, stating it must be something that I'm doing. It must be something else. Like I stated, you're just playing a very reckless game to where if somebody attaches themselves to you, they become a target. But she's like, whether you want to believe it or not, half the boys up here have points because of me. She ain't lying. She ain't lying. And she said, you got to play to win. Also, she's not lying, but she's stressed out essentially. And I feel like that's why she's really crying because Theo's going pretty much about to go into the elimination. And she's hearing Derrick Cancun, which is basically her number 2 guy in the house, as an option to go up against him. So that's why she's stressed out. So we then see at the next day, we got Nani and Will, they up there cupcaking, Turbo's laughing and teasing them. But Derrick and I'm talking about Derrick K, I'm glad the result that happened, so I don't have to keep doing this. But he's talking to D about him being nervous or whatever. And he says, I mean, I feel like I have good connections throughout this house. Like it's pretty well spread. But I feel like the least connected that I am, is with Sydney and Yeremi, who are the 2 people in power. And he's like, I mean, I'm going to play a little bit more cautious because I want to bring money home to my family. But she ends up asking him if he knows how he's going to approach the nominations and shit. And he said, I'm just going to keep my distance. Like, that's just really what it is. She agrees that that's a good idea. Johnny and Derrick Cancun, they don't know how it's going to go. But he feels like he had a good pitch. He did make a decent pitch, but I wouldn't care. It would fall on deaf ears with me. But Olivia and Theo, he's telling her not to get upset about the whole partnership shit. And she's like, I mean, it just doesn't feel good because I worked my ass off. And he says, oh, poor you. I'm the one that's going into the elimination. I said, and whose fault is that? Whose fault is that, Theo? You knew you were coming into this show and you didn't work out. That's why you got injured on that mountain. Let's keep it real. Let's keep it all the way real. And Olivia has a right to be upset because I would be pissed off too if I'm carrying the load of my entire alliance and I know nobody really wants to work with me and you basically are getting carried along. But he ends up stating like it's an easy vote to put him in as a hangnail. Yeah, it is. And I would. But Ashley then says that they just need Yeremi and Sydney to send in a boy from Theo and Olivia's alliance and then they're going to be good. So we get to the nominations and TJ pretty much lets them know Theo, his MRI results came back and he is cleared. So Olivia's relieved that he's still able to compete, but she's nervous because he still can be thrown in. But Sydney and Yeremi, they choose to nominate Derrick and Aviv because they don't want CT coming back. And they're going to take advantage as a rookie pair to throw a vet in. And I'm like, if y'all don't want CT to come back, throwing in Derrick Cancun, on paper, it just don't look like CT's not going to come back. That's what I was thinking. But Yeremi says Derrick wanted a boost of confidence for his game. Talking about his game, Yeremi, but it was at the expense he wanted a boost for his game, but it was at the expense of Yeremi's game. So at this point, I'm repaying the favor. You want a boost? Get your boost by beating him. I said exactly. But Derrick versus Theo, there is them two versus each other for judgment. Derrick and Aviv walk on and off, and he's sitting there talking about justice for Lekka, right? But the votes, it's basically unanimous. Basically, everybody but who did? Actually, I do want to talk about this though. Justin, he got to vote Derrick Cancun in and got to repay that favor. Y'all remember what happened earlier in the season when Derrick Cancun was making it seem like he had Justin's back because they both gay in the house and he was going to have his back throughout the season just to turn around and bow him in. Justin got his lick back, and he got the last laugh at the end of the day. But Turbo ends up stating that he wants CT. John A was like, Theo, that's who we're going to vote in. Because obviously she ain't going to vote in Derrick Cancun. And Turbo's like, say Theo too, or say CT too. But John A says essentially that she's upset because she's the only one willing to stick her neck out for Derrick. And it's sad that his allies are crumbling to the pressure. But I'm like, I see where she's coming from. But you sticking your neck out for Derrick is crazy. I know that's your number one in the game, but his number one is Olivia. He would literally stick his neck out for her before he would stick it out for you. At that point, in this moment, Derrick would have had to go. He would have had to go. Yes, it's a number for John A, but like he's not a good number for her because he wouldn't choose her if it was her versus Olivia. If you asking me, please. But everybody votes him in. It's an 8-1 vote. Derrick is going in against CT in the arena. Turbo's eating it up because he got what he wanted. Derrick FF versus CT. He said it's a win-win regardless, but he wants CT to come back because Derrick is fake as fuck. I said, me and you right there together, Turbo. But Derrick ends up asking his alliance, like, how did it go with the voting? And Adrian pretty much tells him John A was the only one that voted. Like, me and Derrick, because she was attached to Derrick K, we already agreed, since it's a guy's day, I'm going to let him take the reins. He do what he wants. But John A is pretty much telling her, like, at this point, when there's less people in the game, that's still dangerous to just go with the majority. She's not lying. She's not lying. But, like I stated, Derrick Cancun, he ain't somebody that I will be sticking my neck out for. But Olivia knows that Derrick being attached to her put a target on his back. Yes and no. Yes, it did, but his gameplay also did as well. But we get to the arena, and it's my favorite elimination. Is it my favorite? It's one of my favorites. It's definitely one of my favorites. Pole wrestle. Y'all know what it is. It's self-explanatory. You got a pole in the middle. You're trying to wrestle it away from each other. So the first one to get the pole out twice wins. I already knew what the outcome was going to be, but I was actually impressed with Derrick. Derrick actually put up a fight. But CT was in there picking them up, dropping them down, picking them up, dropping them down, flinging them up. Y'all see the thumbnail. CT won that 2-0 easy. Like, I won't say it was easy, but it was easy. Like, you could tell CT could have did a lot more, but maybe it's because he is bigger. But CT got the shit done. He still got it. Still got it. They took a shot. They missed. But, you know, it is what it is. But Derrick hung in there longer than I thought he would in both rounds. But TJ pretty much lets them know that the next challenge is the most important challenge of the season. Why, you ask? It's because it's individual, which lets me know we got the picking at the end of next week. But next week look good because we got Ashley versus Anissa. That fight that was teased in the trailer, which I'm glad they're actually showing it because, you know, with MTV shows, they'll put a fight in a trailer and not put it in the season. But we get to see that they going at it. Somebody apparently cheated in the daily challenge, so it's looking good. The season is still hot and good, and we 8 episodes in going into episode 9, which still looks good. But if y'all got through this, thumbs it up right now. Do it right now. It's free of charge. It helps me out so much. But also get in the comments. I want to hear y'all's thoughts. Share the video. Subscribe if you're new, and I will see y'all next week. Peace.